Hello, my name is Chaz, and I'm a bookaholic. So I've been working to try and figure out how I'm going to do a video about all the Kindle books that I have hauled. And I keep procrastinating and then I end up finding other Kindle book deals, and it just continues getting more and more and more. My list of books that I have bought on my Kindle has now taken on a life of itself. Yes, it has become sentient, and I've got a long list of books here for you today, but I did figure out a way to do it. But yes, I have a problem. And I found out that to date, since my last book haul, let's see here. Since my last book haul, my last Kindle book haul, to specify, I have gotten 65 Kindle books. Yeah, you heard that right. 65 books. I have a little bit of a problem. Now, granted, I only buy books that are cheap. You know, I buy the ones that are like $1.99, or I use gift cards that people give me to buy the books with too. So it's not like I'm spending exorbitant amounts of money on it, but it all adds up. And I've gotten to the point where I've decided I am going to start doing regular monthly book haul videos for Kindle books. Just because, you know, there's always deals and I always end up getting more. So just be aware, you may see more regular Kindle book haul videos popping up. And maybe you like that sort of thing. And if you do, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. So we're going to get right to the Kindle book haul. But before we do, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Get the bell notifications if you want to get notified when I post new videos. Now, I've constructed this in such a way that it's not going to take hours and hours out of your time to watch this. I'm going to keep it to a minimum. And I've organized it by author for most of them, and then I've got some miscellaneous one-off books as well at the end. Okay, so Ari is going to help me. I've got my trusty cat companion here, and she's going to help me stay calm as I peruse all of the books on my list here. Okay, so starting with Agatha Christie. I don't know what it is about Amazon, but they've been doing a lot of sales on Agatha Christie books lately. So, for Agatha Christie, I got Pocketful of Rye, The Hollow, Murder at the Vicarage, Lord Edgware Dies, which I've heard is really a good one. I don't think I've ever read that one. Some of these I've read, some I haven't. The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side, Sparkling Cyanide, Death in the Clouds, Endless Night, and A Cat Among Pigeons. Moving on to Terry Pratchett, I got Small Gods, Equal Rights, The Night Watch, and Guards. And I'm hoping to start Guards here in the near future. I've heard it's one of the best places to start Discworld. Many moons ago, I started Discworld with the first book that he ever published, Color of Magic, and that was not a good experience for me. I will probably reread it at some point, but it wasn't a good experience for me. And I've heard that Guards is a good place to start, so I am going to do that. Oh, and I also got Mort. And I don't know which of the Discworld series each of those comes from. I just know that some of those are the more popular ones by Terry Pratchett to start with. So, the next author I'll talk about is Joe Abercrombie. The books I got for Joe Abercrombie are Sharp Ends, which is a collection of short stories set in the First Law universe. I think it has a short story in there for Glocta, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe one for Logan Nine Fingers as well. I'm not sure, but I've heard that one's really good. And then I also got Best Served Cold and The Heroes, which are two of Joe Abercrombie's standalone First Law novels. And then I got A Little Hatred, which is the first book in the second era of First Law. So I'm very excited to eventually continue reading me some Joe Abercrombie. So, and you'll notice a pattern here. None of these books I just bought on a whim because it was cheap. I'm still very picky with the books I pick up. If it's a book I've been wanting to read, I grab it. If it isn't, I don't bother, even if it's a deal. So I'm wise with my deal purchases. You got to give me that, right? So we'll move on to Jesse Teller. Jesse is a good friend of mine. He's a self-published author, really phenomenal writer. You really should check him out. He had a deal going, like a customer appreciation or a reader appreciation sale. And so I was able to get all of, or most of his books anyway. And that would be The Madness Wars, books 1 through 4. That is one of his major series in his Paralisk universe. There's also a standalone novella set in the same area as The Madness Wars called Crisis of Fate. I also picked up Chased, Legends of Eastgate, Legends of the Exiles, and The Goats of Brescian. And those are all by Jesse Teller. So I'm very excited to eventually get to those. And I love supporting my friend. He's just a phenomenal writer. So make sure you check him out. For Patrick Rothfuss, I got The Wise Man's Fear and The Slow Regard of Silent Things. I've read them before. I own a physical copy of The Slow Regard of Silent Things. It's one of my favorite books. And I was anxious to pick those up, and I saw that they were on sale with a Kindle deal, so I grabbed it. The Emaneska series by Ben Galley. I picked up books 2 through 5. I already owned the first book in the Emaneska series. So I went ahead and picked up the other 4 in the series to complete my collection. I've got other books by Ben Galley that I want to read as well. Chasing Graves is one, and there's also another one, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now, but I'm anxious to read more Ben Galley. The next series I want to talk about that I got some books in is Dresden by Jim Butcher. I picked up Side Jobs, Skin Game, and Deadbeat, all in the Dresden Files series. N.K. Jemisin, Killing Moon, The 100,000 Kingdoms, and The City We Became, which is one of her newest books. I really love N.K. Jemisin, and I'm looking forward to reading more of what she's written. For Terry Brooks, I picked up the Dark Legacy of Shannara series. It is one of his other trilogies in the Shannara universe, and I'm very excited to continue reading Shannara at some point. I've mentioned that before. Stephen King, I picked up The Stand, which I own a physical copy of too, but it's very daunting, and so I thought I might give it a try on Kindle and maybe unhaul the physical copy. I also got Salem's Lot, which is, even though it's a standalone King novel, it's set in the larger King-verse, we shall say, and I've heard that it's best that you read Salem's Lot before moving on to book 5 of the Dark Tower series, The Wolves of the Kala. So I'm very interested to see where that goes. I like vampires, and I understand Salem's Lot focuses on vampires. And I also purchased The Wind Through the Keyhole, which I am actually currently reading. and that's book 4.5 in the Dark Tower series. It fits right in between books 4 and 5 like Salem's Lot does. So I'm very excited to continue reading Stephen King. In the Dragonlance series, I got the last 2 books in the series, The Dragons of Winter Night and The Dragons of Spring Dawning. I should say those are the last 2 books in the Dragonlance Chronicles. So, excited to read those. Neil Gaiman, I purchased Stardust and Trigger Warning on Kindle. Those were both on sale. Now, I own both of those, physical copies. But Neil, being my absolute favorite author of all time, I want the option to read his books whenever I catch a whim, and maybe I only have my Kindle with me. I want to make sure I have it on Kindle. So he's one of those that I will buy both digital and physical copies for, and audio copies I do buy on occasion for him as well. So yeah, let's see. So now let's move on to the miscellaneous books in my Kindle book haul. And those would be The Fall of Hyperion by Dan Simmons, which I have read and reviewed, but I purchased it so long ago that I just haven't talked about it till now. So yeah, that's part of my Kindle book haul. Fire and Blood by George R. R. Martin. He's another one where I want to own physical copies as well as digital. I own Fire and Blood already, part of the A Song of Ice and Fire expanded universe, so I wanted to get it on ebook as well. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This is a classic that I've never read before, but I've always wanted to, so I picked that up on Kindle. Breach of Peace by Daniel Green, or as I like to call him, the Goblin. Daniel is a booktuber, and if you haven't read Breach of Peace, it's a really great book. I did already read it. So, The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. Altered Carbon. The author's last name is Morgan. I forgot the first name. But anyway, this is the book series that the miniseries on Netflix was based on. So I picked up Altered Carbon. Malice by John Gwynne, the first book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. Nightmare and Shade, both by Chad Nicholas. And if you have not watched my interview with Chad Nicholas, you really need to. It's a lot of fun. But those... I purchased Nightmare, and I was given a copy of Shade for free in exchange for a review. So I'm very excited to have gotten those on my Kindle, and you should read both of them. Bastards of the Bayou, or the Bayou. I think it's Bayou. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Bayou. By Guillory. Guillory is the author's last name. And that is kind of like a horror mystery. I'm not sure. I read the blurb about it, and it sounded really good. It sounded like something I'd be interested in. So I went ahead and picked it up. Streams of Silver, which is book 5 in the original Drizzt cycle by R.A. Salvatore. So I'm trying to read those in publication order. I have The Crystal Shard, which is book 4 on my Kindle already. I've had that one for a while, and so I picked up book 5 as well, since it was on sale. Jade War by Fonda Lee, second book in the Greenbone saga. And I'm currently reading that one. I just started reading that one, and I'm enjoying myself. It's a great read so far. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I also eventually want to pick up Recursion, but I haven't bought that yet. But Dark Matter I've heard really, really good things about, so I'm excited for that. Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I have never read Jurassic Park. Of course, I've seen all of the original movies. I've seen Jurassic World, but I have never read the original books. So I am hoping to do that soon. I need to remedy that. Beyond a Reasonable Stout by Ellie Alexander. This is a a whodunit satire. You can tell from the title, Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. You would normally say Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, so that kind of tells you right off the bat it's probably going to be a satire of some point. And I like mysteries, and I like stout beer. So, what better way to get both in one fell swoop, right? Paul of Dune. My understanding about this one is it follows Paul Atreides during the time between Dune and Dune Messiah, when he was just slowly building his empire after the end of Dune. So that's what I've heard. I don't know much about it. I'm not going to read it until I finish the original 6 books of Dune, because this is one that was written by Frank Herbert's son, Brian Herbert, and Kevin J. Anderson. And I don't want to read that until I've read the original 6. But I will use that book to give me a window into whether or not Brian Herbert is a worthwhile writer to continue reading in the Dune series. So, yeah. Piranesi, or Piranesi, or however you say it, by Susanna Clark. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. It's been on my TBR for a while, and I finally found it on sale and picked it up for my Kindle. If I like it well enough, it looks like a very beautiful book that would be worth owning a physical copy of. The artwork and everything just looks spectacular, but I'm going to try it out on Kindle to see whether I want to buy it or not. And I think that about does it. Can you believe it? That was 65 books on that Kindle book haul. So, you have my word going forward that I'm going to do my best to do a regular Kindle book haul every month, because I invariably purchase a few Kindle books each month. There are some months that I don't purchase any Kindle books, I think. But yes, if there is a month that I don't purchase any, I'll let you know in just a different video. Oh, by the way, I didn't purchase any Kindle books this month, so there won't be a book haul coming. But stay tuned for that. And if you have as big a problem purchasing Kindle books as I do, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know that I'm not alone. And let me know if you've heard of any of these books, or read any of these books, or maybe now you want to pick up some of these books. I will say that I am not putting any links in the description to where you can buy these books, just because there are so many. I am not listing 65 books in the description below. I'm just not. I may put links to some of the author book lists that I have on bookshop.org, so you can click over to those lists and purchase some of the books from there if you want to. But I'm not going to be listing out the books like I normally do. You do have the link to my bookshop.org affiliate page, where you can buy books and things like that if you're interested. And you can find any of these on Amazon as well. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Make sure that you are reading more books, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.